Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Representative Sayer, and thank you to my senator, Senator Haley, and thank you to the members of the committee. I appreciate this opportunity to testify today regarding Senate Bill number 498. My name is David Sheridan. I am the director of the town of Manchester and have been so since 2001. You have before you the written testimony of my colleague on the board of directors and my mayor, Lou Spadaccini, who unfortunately could not be present today. His testimony describes the private-public partnership that has existed for over 50 years between the town of Manchester and Mark, and expressing the town's complete support of this Mark initiative. In his absence, I'd be happy to answer any questions the committee may have about the town of Manchester's relationship with Mark. But really, I'm here today not as a town official, but in my capacity as a citizen of the state, a resident of the town of Manchester. I am here today in strong, unconditional support of Senate Bill number 498. There are some folks here today who will speak after me who can tell you more eloquently than I can about Mark's demonstrated need for this new facility. That is the bricks and mortar perspective. My perspective is that of someone who sees this as an investment in human capital, an investment in a betterment of the human condition, which should be the ultimate goal of this or any government. Every citizen of this state needs to feel comfort and joy in their lives, and citizens with disabilities must ultimately rely on us to help them reach that place. It is a moral responsibility which sadly for generations we neglected to fulfill. Mark has been part of changing that. Mark has worked in the town of Manchester for over 56 years to help mentally disabled individuals create a meaningful life. Mark creates a happy and safe environment for these citizens, gives them a chance to socialize, share time, laughter, and be creative and productive with others. It gives them a sense of worth and dignity that is truly priceless. That's what Mark has done for the disabled. Now let me explain what Mark has done for those of us who are not disabled. Over the past 50 years, Mark has been at the forefront of the effort to move the mentally disabled out of the shadows, and in the process to move all of us towards a better and brighter future. The good people of Mark have done much to remove the stigma attached to cognitive, intellectual, and developmental disabilities simply by remaining true to their motto of seeing people, not disabilities. Because of Mark, I have learned, as have thousands of other people in my town, that the developmentally disabled people have dreams, hopes, fears, and passions that are not unlike my own. I am a better person for it, and my community is better too.
Can you summarize
I sure can.
Your eloquent statement?
Okay. In closing, I'm grateful for the work this committee does to protect, to preserve, and enhance the public health of the people of the state. And I fully appreciate that there are many needs and resources are scarce. But I urge this committee to make this a priority and support and sustain the continued good work of Mark by acting favorably on the Senate Bill number 498. And thank you for allowing me to testify, and thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing me to trespass on your time.
That's all right. I'm pretty strict. Okay. Are there any questions? Any questions? Okay, thank you very much. Our next speaker is Ken Charpentier. Good afternoon, Ken.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Co-Chair Representative Sayers, Senator Hanley, members of the Public Health Committee. My name is Ken Charpentier, and I'm the Executive Director of Mark Inc. of Manchester, and I'm here today to speak in favor of Senate Bill number 498, an act authorizing bonds of the state for a facility in Manchester for persons with developmental disabilities, and ask for your support. Mark Inc. currently provides support to over 250 individuals with developmental disabilities and their families across a broad spectrum of services. Our employment services include job training, job development, transportation, on-the-job assistance, and follow-up supports to both employer and employee. More than 200 people served by our employment department are currently working in 23 different towns throughout the region. Our residential department provides support to 48 people living throughout Manchester. Supports are based on individual needs and interests and include transportation, shopping, budgeting, skill development, and recreation. Hours of support are based on individual needs and can vary from as few as 6 hours per week to 24 hours per day. Our retirement service currently supports 25 people. Retirees choose from a constantly evolving menu of activities developed around their interests. Activities include the first chapter of the Red Hat Society formed by people with disabilities in the nation, and the Mark Visiting Angels, a group of seniors who visit local nursing homes to bring good cheer and companionship. Our respite service offers a variety of social and recreational activities to people with disabilities who live with parents or other family members. This service offers people a chance to connect with old and new friends while providing families with a much-needed break from the demands of 24-hour care. Our Self-Advocacy Committee participates in a wide range of activities designed to foster awareness and encourage positive change. Many of our members are on local, state, and national boards working hard to ensure that disability does not limit the achievement of personal dreams. For the past 8 years, we've provided diversity training to every 4th grade student in the Manchester public school system and to many private schools. This training encourages kids to dispel stereotypes and fears and to recognize that all people deserve to be accepted and welcomed as equally important members of our community. On May 16th, we will celebrate 56 years of service to our community. Our society has come a long way during the past 56 years in recognizing the inherent rights of all people to lead active, productive lives in the community based on individual choice. The walls have come down for people with developmental disabilities. Many barriers to full participation in community life have been removed. No longer are people relegated to lives of seclusion based on a happenstance of birth. May I?
Yeah,
Thank you.
just summarize.
Summarize.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry for the time. The design and construction of a new facility for marketing is an exciting time for us. I'll just skip to one of the primary reasons we need the larger facility, and that has to do with an increasing percentage of people that we serve that are approaching retirement age. As with the U.S. population in general, many of the people we've served for decades are now experiencing challenges associated with age. Our new facility will include a senior center that is approximately twice the size of our current location and will be furnished with state-of-the-art adaptive equipment and rehabilitative equipment. At Mark Inc., we do and we can't imagine a day when people with disabilities are recognized universally as valued members and equal partners of our society, and every individual and every citizen, I believe, deserves no less. Your support for Senate Bill 498 will help us achieve this mission. Thank you for providing the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you, Ken, very much. Are there comments? I think it's just amazing because I see Nate Agostinelli over there. He and I remember, I'm sure, when the Preganos and others began this process a very, very long time ago. And to think that now you even have to plan for a retirement, a senior center and retirement center for folks. It's just wonderful, and I thank you very much for all that's been going on. Our next speaker is Thomas McCann. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's been so many times I've been here. I think this is my 10th time already. Good afternoon. My name is Thomas McCann, and I'm a self-advocate. I'm here to tell you that Mark needs a new building, and you should support raising Senate Bill 498. I live on my own and in a condo that I bought in Manchester, Connecticut. I live independently. I have no roommate except my cat Gentle. I can live and work independently because I have support from Mark. Without Mark, I wouldn't have a job and be able to pay my bills. Living in a condo goes go to movies, or out to dinner. All these things that you, as legislators, can do to have a full and happy life. If I couldn't get help from these things, my life would be down the drain. Mark supports people in the community, jobs, and makes sure that we can live independently. If we did not receive these supports, we would be lost. Mark is asking help from the legislators to fund a new building. They need more space to serve people. Mark supports people with disability in Manchester and surrounding towns. I want to stress how important this new building is. I know lots of people in Manchester and around the region who need the support provided by Mark. With a new building, more people could be served and more types of service could be offered. Support Senate Bill 498. Make sure that I and other people like me get the help I need to keep my job, my home, and my ability to run my own life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Other questions? Where's your condo, Thomas?
In Manchester.
Oh, okay, all right. I wondered if it was near my house.
Well, if you live in Manchester, yes, but
Okay.
if you don't, then no.
Thank you very much. Lori, is Lori here?
We have someone.
Oh.
Very good. Great job.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Madam Chair and members of the Public Health Committee, my name is Carol Breslin. I'm the Quality Assurance Director for Mark Incorporated of Manchester. And I'm here today on behalf of Lori Preitko, who's ill and was unable to attend. So I'd like to read her testimony. Madam Chair and members of the Public Health Committee, my name is Lori Preitko. I was the Executive Director of Mark Inc. of Manchester from 1980 to 2006. And currently serve as a member of the Mark Board of Directors and co-chair of the Mark Building Committee. I'm here today to ask for your support of Senate Bill 498, an act authorizing bonds of the state for a facility in Manchester for persons with developmental disabilities. I've been involved with Mark since the day it was formed in 1952. My sister Patty, who's no longer with us, had a developmental disability and found comfort and purpose in life because of Mark. My parents and I also found peace and comfort knowing that an organization existed to provide the numerous services Patty would need to give her an opportunity to live as independently as possible. We are forever in debt to Mark and their many wonderful staff over the years. As Mark matured, so did I. As a teenager, it was a joy and pleasure to have Patty in my life. She loved the world and taught me compassion, kindness, and understanding towards all people. As a young adult, I was involved with Mark more than ever. The agency was growing by leaps and bounds as more individuals received services. I saw firsthand happy faces of individuals and their families as they experienced a sense of freedom offered by Mark's many services. I was so inspired by Mark that I left my job at Pratt & Whitney and became the executive director at the agency in 1980. During this time, I focused on breaking down barriers that existed between people with developmental disabilities and the community. We began to provide community-based employment opportunities by opening a bakery. We expanded the bakery to a second location, and the community welcomed us with open arms. People began to notice the talents and skills of the new workforce, people with developmental disabilities, and businesses began calling us to fill their employment needs. In the early 1990s, the Connecticut General Assembly called upon us to apply our nationally recognized job coach model to welfare to work services in the state. Mark then expanded to provide retirement, residential, and self-advocacy services to individuals. People now have the opportunity to live, work, and enjoy their communities according to their individual choices.
Would you, we have a copy of Lori's statement, so I think if you want to just read maybe the last.
I think the most important point that we would have wanted to make is that over the years, Mark has had to move many, many times in conjunction with the town of Manchester's support, to the point that she characterized it as being Manchester's orphan. So we're asking that you support SB 498 to find a home for Mark that would be permanent and will allow us to provide the services into the future.
Thank you. I know that, Lori, that is a great concern to have for the first time a real home. Thank you. Our next speaker is Nathan Agostinelli.
I yield first to our distinguished state representative, who takes priority.
I yield to you, Senator.
No, I have to yield to the mayor, so Nate is our former mayor. So. I had a slightly different plan for Ryan.
I thank you very much. Representative Sayers, Senator Hanley, and distinguished members of the Public Health Committee. It's really a privilege and an honor to be here to speak on behalf of Mark. I'm a member of the Board of Directors of Mark, and I'm co-chairperson of the Building Committee with Lori Pretko, one of the founders of this great organization. And the move that Mark is making is very necessary and will help an awful lot of people. I have a statement here. I'm not about to read the statement. I'll just make a few comments. That Mark is blessed with a fantastic staff. The people that we have, Ken, Kevin, and the rest of them, are just the very finest that I've ever met. And they work hand in hand with the members of Mark, helping. There's nothing greater that we can do for anyone than helping people that are a little less fortunate than ourselves. You know, someone comes up with different terms every once in a while. And a few years ago, somebody came up with the term no-brainer. I honestly believe that, I know that many of the decisions you have to make are very difficult, but I would consider this, in my mind, a no-brainer. It's something that's necessary. Not only do we serve Manchester, but we serve the greater Manchester area. So we have a wide circle of people that we help. So I would ask you, please consider this bill and pass it. And I'd like to thank you for your indulgence and your kindness in listening to us today. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Fine. Thank you, Nate. Are there any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Mary O'Connor, and then the two representatives, the two people from the official list, Representative Barry and Frank can come up. That was, I think that will work. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Mary O'Connor. Thank you for this opportunity to, on behalf of Mark. I am the mother of the developmentally challenged son, and his name is Neil. In Neil's senior year at East Hartford High, 2001, together with the school staff, our family decided to transition Neil to Mark Inc. to help shape his future. To state it simply, it was indeed the very best decision we could have made. And the reason I say this now is because Neil is gainfully employed at Bob's Discount Furniture Store in Manchester, and he loves his job. For the past 3 years, Neil has been sharing a 2-hour supported living service